Well, I'd like to be able to be part of Savannah's life, but it's like they're in this collusion that seems to hate Robyn, and I don't know why. Other than, well, they're jealous.
So Cody has this idea that somehow if he leaves Robyn home, he's going to be able to come to these family gatherings, and that's so far from the truth. He is alienated from 90 to 95% of his children. He is not really wanted at events.
Hey friends, it's Katie from Without a Crystal Ball. Welcome back to my channel. It is Monday, December 2nd, 2024. I hope everyone had a wonderful Thanksgiving weekend. If you are from the United States, that is why I was out and not working for the last several days. I took a much needed break to spend time with my family, and I hope you did too. Kody Brown has now officially turned on his wife, Robyn. We only knew it was a matter of time before Cody would start blaming Robyn for all of the reasons why his family has fallen apart. Now, he does this in a way where it's very subtle and he acts as though he is blaming her, but at the same time protecting her and at the same time choosing her. It's a very convoluted tale. But this season is kind of boring. And frankly, I'm getting a little bit bored of their fight about Coyote Pass because at this point in time, nothing with Coyote Pass has changed. The property is paid off, as you've seen. It's not for sale. There has been no lawsuits filed by Mary or by Janelle forcing a sale. There has been threats of legal action and fighting about it, but so far it's been a pretty boring storyline. There's a lot more going on in this family than Coyote Pass, and it's like this focus on Coyote Pass is just a diversion so we don't look at the chaos that's happening. It also gives Cody and Robyn an excuse to not have to deal with their own problems, show their kids or their fractures in their family, or tell the truth. It gives them a reason to avoid accountability because they can focus on a storyline that nobody cares about, that's irrelevant. I mean, it's relevant in that there's money at stake here, but it's irrelevant in that who cares? It's 2024, the end of 2024. The property was paid off almost 2 years ago, a year and a half ago, and it's not for sale. It's never been subdivided. This ridiculous conversation about subdividing the property where he's going to do it in 5 lots. He's had a year and a half to do that. And guess what? It's never been done. Never once. He's never even taken out a survey to have someone come and look. He's never pulled a permit for a survey. He has never even applied for a division of the property. And frankly, I have a feeling that the reason why is that he wants to divide this into 5 lots, but one of the lots is not going to be very profitable for him because it has a huge easement because it's on a pipeline. The pond where he wants to put that into a tiny 2-acre lot, it won't work because there would be no place to put a house. And half the lot is engulfed by a drainage pond. There's a reason why the original owner divided the properties this way. It was because of the pipeline, period. So that part of the episode was so boring. I was like, I don't even care anymore. I honestly do not care about Coyote Pass. Is anyone else there with me? What actually amazes me more than anything is that there are statements made by the women like Cody is alienated from 90 to 95% of his children, and he is not welcome or wanted at events because of him. Why so little time and attention is focused on that? Why are they not focusing on the destruction Cody has created within his own family? Why are they not focusing on the fact that Cody is the culprit and the destroyer of all things? Why are they not holding him to the fire and talking more about the alienation that's occurred instead of focusing on this meaningless storyline about property that nobody cares about, that's boring, that's never going to get built on? You know what I mean? So they have a party for Savannah, right? She's 18 years old. And it's just like this throwaway part where Cody is just acknowledging that he did not attend or was invited to his daughter's graduation party, didn't even want to go. And it's not because of Savannah, it's because of Janelle, because he doesn't get along with Janelle. So again, he is punishing his daughter.
I wouldn't have expected to be invited. Janelle and I aren't in a good place, and Christine and I aren't in a good place.
I do not interact with Cody and Robyn or their kids. Savannah doesn't really have much to do with them, so it'd be super awkward. And no, I'm not going to invite them.
So I guess we're just going to ignore the fact that a father of a daughter who is 18 years old, who was a minor child for the entirety of the show until this point, graduates from high school, and Cody expects that he won't be invited because he is mad at Janelle and Christine and they don't like him. And she says that she doesn't invite him because she doesn't have a good relationship with him and Savannah doesn't have a relationship with him. So she's not going to invite him. Janelle and Christine have taken very different approaches when it comes to Cody. And maybe it's just because of what her kids have decided. I have no idea. I know that with Gwendolyn invited her dad to come to her engagement party and he came. When it came to Gwendolyn's wedding, she invited her dad, and Robyn and Cody came. Logan invited Cody and Robyn to the wedding and they came. I think it's contingent on each of the children, maybe. I don't know. But, Cody has minor children and he split with Janelle when she was a minor still in high school. And he just basically abandoned Savannah. So why are we not talking about that instead of talking about Coyote Pass? You know what I mean? And Cody's just if the mother of the child is mad at him, I guess he doesn't get to have a relationship in his eyes because he doesn't view the kids as his kids. Can you imagine being a father that your relationship with a child is only a relationship so long as you're in a marriage with them? And then if you're not anymore, you don't care? What is that? You're not a dad then. You're basically just a sperm donor.
But it's like they're in this collusion that seems to hate Robyn, and I don't know why. Other than, well, they're jealous.
There's this idea that somehow if he leaves Robyn home, he's going to be able to come to these family gatherings, and that's so far from the truth. He is not really wanted at events.
Oh, here we go with Cody triangulating here. And this is a way I think Cody needs to protect his fragile ego and blame someone else for why his kids don't want to be around him. I mean, sure, some of these children have issues with Robyn, but at the end of the day, their relationship with their dad has to do with their relationship with their dad. If he's married to Robyn, they might not like Robyn, but that doesn't mean they don't still want to have a relationship with him. There might be issues of ways that he has treated them in relation to what he has received versus Robyn. There are years upon years upon years of neglect and abandonment that these kids have felt at the hands of Cody's choices. Robyn is just the person he chose to be with. He has asked everyone to bend to her and be like her in order for him to have a relationship with people. And now, after years upon years upon years of saying to people, like, you can have a relationship with me if you're more like Robyn, right? Then he's now saying that they have a problem with me because of Robyn. So he created the division where he said that you need to be more like Robyn and you need to run your house more like Robyn, or you can have a relationship with me. Like, he literally said that to Janelle. He said he had a woman that was fundamentally loyal to him and she could have that if she was loyal to him too. But now he's saying on the flip side that it's Robyn's fault that he doesn't have a relationship with them. And it's because they're jealous. Make it make sense. And how is Robyn going to feel knowing that Cody is viewing her as the problem and the reason why his relationships have failed? At some point, Robyn needs to take stock and look at Cody's behavior and see that she's just being scapegoated by him. She is not being scapegoated by the family. She is being scapegoated by Cody. Yes, Robyn made mistakes, but Robyn's not responsible for Cody's relationships with these kids. He is, not Robyn. He is. If he fails to have a relationship with them, that's his fault, not hers.
The situation sucks to hype. It just sucks. I got this whole other side of the family that have decided that they're still a family and we're out. Now, they'll let me in that club as long as I leave Robyn behind.
So earlier in the same episode, when Cody was dropping off Mary and crying and having a belligerent meltdown about her leaving him, which confused Mary, Jen was interviewed, who lived in Las Vegas and was friends with Mary when they all lived in Las Vegas. Now she lives in Parowan and helps Mary with her business, and she's just ended up settling there and moving there with her family. And she made the comment that even when they lived in Las Vegas, that she and her husband, who were friends of the family, and Jen was around all of them. I mean, Jen wasn't just friends with Mary in Las Vegas. If you hear other people in the family that talk about her, she was around everyone, right? And McKelty has talked about Jen and says that Jen's a great person. She used to babysit Jen's kids. Like, Jen was a family friend. She wasn't just Mary's friend. And then she and Mary were obviously closer, but she was friends with everyone. And she's around the family a lot. And she says, when we were in Vegas, Cody just was never around. He was always at Robyn's house, always. He made his choice then in Las Vegas that he picked Robyn. So really what Cody did was he picked a family and he kicked the rest of them out, and they stayed a family because they had to. They were relying on each other. Their kids were connected to each other. He moved them all to Vegas, and so they're in the same proximity. So Cody's acting like his choice to abandon everyone thus means he's been kicked out when he made the choice to leave and spend all of his time with Robyn. So you've got Jen, who's a third party, saying Cody picked Robyn. Cody was always with Robyn. Cody preferred Robyn. He favorited Robyn. And she goes as far as to say, is if you're going to have four wives, it's your job to manage those relationships. Not saying it's Robyn's fault. It's Cody's fault. It's his job to manage the relationships that he's decided to be a part of. And if he can't manage them and he doesn't want to be a part of them, then he needs to be a good person and say, I don't want to do this anymore. And instead, he just perpetuated this fraud because they were on a show promoting polygamy. Cody cared more about the appearance of it looking like he had a family so that he could grift and make money off of this lie. I mean, he is at the end of this episode telling his brothers about how, when he was with all these other women and, saying that he liked polygamy, he didn't like polygamy, which is an accusation he's actually made against Christine, saying that, for years and years and years, Christine told me that she didn't like plural marriage while we're promoting plural marriage. Back in season, I think 17 or 18, I can't remember, Christine had made a comment that one of her biggest fears about leaving Cody and coming out in publicly and sort of saying that she didn't agree with any of this was that she would be viewed as a fraud because for years she had perpetuated this idea that everyone should accept them because they are living polygamy and it's a great way to live when she knew in her heart it wasn't. She said that she was worried that people would think she was a fraud. And so why would they believe her now? But now it just feels good to tell the truth. Okay. But now Cody is trying to use Christine's line and say, well, yeah, I knew it was a fraud too, but now I'm just glad to tell the truth. When before he accused Christine was the bad person for saying that. You know what I mean? And he's saying that, he just found monogamy with Robyn. And so he can't help it. He can't help that he found this with her. Well, he actually can help it. And here's where Cody again doesn't take responsibility. So he blames Robyn for the fact that he doesn't have a relationship with his kids. And he says that he can't go anywhere because Robyn's not invited. And that's just not true. Okay. That's just not true. Janelle says he's just not invited, period. He's not welcome. It has nothing to do with Robyn. He wants to put it on Robyn because then he doesn't have to look at his own choices, right? He doesn't have to take responsibility. He can blame Robyn. Okay. But even if they don't like Robyn and she's made mistakes, and she has, whose responsibility is it for Cody to have a relationship with his kids? Cody. Cody didn't have to marry Robyn. He really didn't. He didn't. He had been with these other women for years and years and years. He didn't need to go out and find another new shiny ball of a woman that he wanted to be with that was 10 years younger. He brags that this woman was like a symbol of his status because he believed she was a diesel jean model, a supermodel. She was beautiful. Other members of the church wanted her. There was leaders of the church that wanted to marry her and take her in, but he won her. He looks at her as a trophy. He has gone as far as to call and imply that she's a gold digger and that he is looking at her as a trophy. He views Robyn as the epitome of his success. But he didn't need Robyn, but he did need Robyn because if he didn't have Robyn, he wouldn't have had a show. So Cody sold out his whole family for money. He put his needs, his desire for his ego and his greed and his self-fulfilling narcissistic thing to look like the man, the pimp. He squandered all of their money. He spent it all. He moved them to Flagstaff. He's trying to steal the money from the women still to this day, not giving them their fair share. And then he blames them for being jealous of Robyn, and then subsequently blaming Robyn indirectly for the reason why his kids don't have a relationship with him. Now, hear me on this. Eventually, Robyn's going to wake up, okay? Once she no longer has anyone to compete with and he has no one else to fight with, she's going to start to realize that how he treated Janelle and Christine and Mary is exactly how she's going to get treated. Because at one point in time, he was madly in love with Mary. He called Mary his soulmate. At one point in time, he was madly in love with Christine because, she was the glue that held the family together. At one point in time, he was madly in love with Janelle, right? He gets bored. And then when he's bored and the woman stops being new and shiny and great, then he starts mistreating them. He takes his anger out of them. He blames them for not doing everything perfectly. At some point, maybe Robyn decides she doesn't want to do everything that Cody says. She doesn't want to be obedient. Maybe Robyn wants to have her own life. Maybe Robyn wants to have her own job. Maybe Robyn wants to have an autonomous connection outside of Cody. And then what? She's going to start to see that Cody treats her the same way that he treated Mary and Janelle and Christine. Because if his pattern of behavior is to mistreat women, he's not going to stop just because he found a woman that he claims is his soulmate. It's just not going to work that way. Cody doesn't change based on his partner. He doesn't. He doesn't change his attitudes. He doesn't change the control he has. I mean, I'm still in contact with a woman that was friends with Robyn for years. Talked to her last week and said, Cody was always super controlling of Robyn. Still is to this day. Robyn has cut off contact with almost everyone. Doesn't have relationships with really anyone anymore because he is so controlling. They told me that once Cody got Robyn pregnant with Solomon, he basically moved in with her. Didn't have much to do with anyone else. His whole focus of life came on to Robyn. He only interacted with the other women for the purpose of filming, just to look like he was a polygamist. It was all fraud. Cody made that choice, no one else. But he's starting to turn on Robyn. And even though they're still together and they've bought a house recently, that doesn't change that this is a perfect marriage, because it's not. It is not a perfect marriage. He moved the family to Flagstaff when everything was falling apart, right? Make it look like they were still a family. He moves constantly to keep the women unstable, and he's going to do the same thing to Robyn. He's going to be Cody no matter who he's with. And Robyn's going to have to decide, is the money that she's making and the stability, the quote unquote stability that she's getting from him with the finances worth it? She has let him destroy her reputation indirectly by blaming everything on her. He's letting her be the villain, even though he's the villain. And again, I'm not saying Robyn's perfect, but that's what Cody did this episode. It was pretty gross. We'll talk more about some of the other details that came out, but what are your thoughts about this? Let me know in the comments below. Make sure to give this video a thumbs up. Make sure to subscribe to my channel if you haven't subscribed. Click the bell so you never miss a video. Bye, everyone.